a presentation, you're not talking about a deck. You're just talking about showing the thing off, right?
Yeah. Show and tell.
That's always. I always prefer that over talking to slides. If I'm being totally straight with you. To be completely honest, if I could go my entire life without ever speaking to a pitch deck, I would be happy.
Yeah, pitch decks are a necessary evil.
Indeed.
Okay, well, I think we're pretty much ready to go live. I can see the stream coming through on YouTube, Z5, and yeah, good to go. So let us know, Z5, when we can start.
All right. So, hey everyone. My name is Rob. I am the CEO and founder, and also lead dev and architect of Resonate. And what Resonate is it is a system to run DeFi yield rate swaps. I'm going to start at the very beginning, give everyone kind of a general overview of what we do, and then we're actually going to walk through and I'll show you how it works. And then we'll probably hit some technical difficulties with my Trezor, and then I'll cuss it out, and then, just keep going from there. So what we are is, well, the problem that we're trying to solve, I should start with that, is rates in DeFi are incredibly volatile. I mean, we don't need to go to Yearn. I can show you that here. Let's take a look at something like Beefy GLP. You see that? That's 9%. 2 days ago, that was 20%. And because volatility just fell off in the last 2 days, that has been cut in half. This poses a serious problem because while you can deal with volatility in prices, that's called delta, with shorts, now as you go delta neutral, it's very difficult for any institutional or high IQ trader to deal with yield rate volatility. Yield rate volatility prevents you from being able to set up long-term strategies. It means that you can't tell your LPs as a crypto fund, hey, we're going to go make 4% this quarter without, having that be based entirely on faith. And it also means that if you're trying to engage in some of the more well-known delta neutral strategies and you have to pay for shorts, then there's a pretty good chance that you don't end up making money. A good example would be if I have a rate that's doing between 3 to 5% in a month, and I know that opening a short on that asset will cost me 3.5%. If I hit that lower bound where my return is 3% and my cost is 3.5%, I'm negative 0.5%. So as a fund manager or as a whale, this is not something that I ever want to have to deal with. I don't want to make these plays and then have them blow up in my face. I want certainty. And for the large, massive amounts of capital institutional space to come into this world, they too need that certainty. So what Resonate is it is an order book based system. So it's closer to the Rari style of pools, but I promise you it's an order book where you as an institutional player or just a large investor who wants to get a fixed rate, maybe you want to go take that fixed rate and leverage it and drop it into another farm, thus getting you a higher rate than you could have gotten on the variable through leverage without ever risking your principal. Well, be you retail or institution, you come to our system and you say, all right, I've got my my asset that's going to be turning, in this case, 9.78%. So I want to get an 8% rate for this year. And what that's going to entail is I would go ahead, I would say, all right, I want to lock up for 2 weeks. And I want to get paid that 8% rate over that 2 weeks. So we'll take 8%, and we'll divide by 26, and we'll get 0.3. Now we'd name the pool. And we would choose the token that we want to get paid, create that. not going to do that right now. I'm going to finish explaining why you'd actually do this and how this system works. And then we're going to get into the live demo. So you've already seen how you can create an order. Let's say back to the 3 to 5 example, you say, I want 4% for the month. And you go ahead, you open a pool, you deposit into it on the what we call the issuer side. Issuer, institution, they all start with an I. That's how you remember it. And you say, okay, let's go to a pool. Pretend we're in this one. That actually is 4%, so that works out. Pretend we're dropping, you know, like $100. And we say, okay, you know, I've got $100 and I want to get my 4%. So one of our underwriters will see that you created that order, and they'll actually go in on this side. I'm sorry. They'll come along and they'll say, okay, he's put $100 here. I want to go ahead. I don't think we have any open orders right now on the issuer side. But I want to go ahead and I want to get that, I want to pay him the upfront. I want to purchase his spread. And what I'll do is I will pay him that upfront amount at that 4% rate. So in this case, it's $100. I pay 4%. And now the guy, the institution, the guy who got paid, he's done. He gets a financial NFT that represents his rights to reclaim those assets at the end of the month. And he gets that 4% in liquid tokens. The underwriter who paid the upfront gets an FNFT that represents his rights to claim all interest generated by that position in the specified yield farm, which, as you can see here, Beefy GLP or Yearn or any of those things. And that means that you know, if that farm performs at 3% that month, well, he loses. He paid the guy 4. So I gave you $4, I get $3 back. I'm down. But if the farm performs at the 5% the underwriter expected it to, since he thought this was a good deal in the first place, well, he ends up 25% up in a month because he paid $4 and he got 5 back. So it works out very well for him and he ends up ahead. But he's got to be very judgmental in what pools he wants to work with. So now we've run through the very high-level overview. Let's actually go take a look at a live pool. For this demo, I really like GLP. And because this is actually an old order on a 2-week, I'm actually getting paid more than GLP is currently making since GLP got cut in half. So whoever opened that order, they probably should come back and cancel it, since it's no longer a good order for them. And what we'll do is we'll go ahead, we'll pull this up. I've got 3 GLP in my wallet. I select the pool that I want to use, and I'm starting you guys off on the advanced side. I'm going to show you how this is simple. If you want to do it on the simpler side, we're going to start off with the full Monty. So I come in and I say, all right, I've got 3 GLP. I want to go ahead and I want to deposit 2 of them. And that is a perfect time for that to happen.
It's never a perfect time, especially when running a demo, but these things happen, so don't worry about it, Rob.
Let me madly message my web dev and then madly reload the page. And then go hit Vercel with a wrench. We'll get that going again. Okay, Sushi's having problems. Wonderful. See, this is why you shouldn't build on other token lists. You never know when they're going to do this crap. Well, they chose a very inopportune moment to have downtime. Fortunately, I think we can still show the FNFTs, since y'all got the general idea of how that system works.
Did you say that was Sushi on Sushi's end?
Yeah, it looks like their token list isn't loading, and that's making the website, the web app angry.
Okay.
Yeah. You see there? Tokenlist.sushi.com. Yep. Sushi is down.
Okay.
Oh, Sushi Swap, why did you have to choose now? Anyways, that won't affect the rest of the demo. So once you've been matched up with somebody on the other side, you get the FNFT. And this is what it looks like. This itself is the NFT. It's not a JPEG. And I want to hammer that home. This is a IPFS-based web app created for each unique position, and we're actually working toward having it fully on chain. So once that's gone live, you're going to be able to interact with your position right from the FNFT. And what that looks like is if you flip it over, you'll see on the back that it's got all the details pertaining to the relevant position. You can send it to somebody, and once it's unlocked, you can withdraw. You see that it has the date that it unlocks, and it tells you how much it's worth. In this case, it's worth a very small amount of stake to ETH curve, and we can tell that it's actually got 87,000 copies of that, which allows you to further subdivide the position. Now, had that order actually gone through, and Sushi not decided that now was a fantastic time to break, then what would have happened is I would have actually received the GLP, the USDC that my counterparty was willing to pay me upfront. And unfortunately, because Sushi is down, our token icons are no longer working, and that is breaking the entire web app. So I can't show you what that actually looks like, but to make a long story short, he was willing to give me, he had $187 in there. I only had a few GLP. He actually can support several tens of thousands to hundreds of thousands of dollars with that small amount. And that's because he's paying me in such a minuscule upfront payout. Because he's paying me 1% on $100, for instance. He's paying me even smaller than 1% since we're talking about a 2-week or 1-week period. And that means that even $100 on the underwriter side, the purchaser side, can support huge chunks on the issuer or institutional side. So the way our system works makes it quite different than anyone else who's approached this problem. You guys may have heard of IPOR, you may have heard of who's the other? It's Volts and Element, those guys. You may have heard of those. So the way they work is they use liquidity pools. We don't use liquidity pools. We're an order book-based system. And the advantage that gives us in terms of capital efficiency is that what we found is institutions always want to be getting fixed rates. They do not want to ever be in a position where they're the ones getting the variable, because the variable, as we established, is the volatile one. So what not using liquidity pools allows us to do is it allows us to structure our system in a way that the largest participant will always be the fixed rate one, which is a huge innovation over anything else that's been brought into this space. It means that we have fantastic fit with these institutional players, just because so much less capital is required on the variable side than is on the fixed side. Everybody else, the largest position in their system is it's always going to be the variable. I'm happy to say that we've solved that problem. So it appears that Sushi's list is still down.
Yeah, that is unfortunate timing. So yeah, that's a unique approach. I consider myself a bit of a DeFi noob in terms of staking and strategies, etc. But some of this is definitely landing. So you can essentially take a small amount of collateral and divide that multiple times against borrowers. Is that right?
A smaller amount of collateral and divide that against borrowers.
Yeah.
Can you elaborate on that?
Well, so you said you can take, $187 and you can fund multiple. You can fund
Yep.
hundreds.
So you can subdivide the entire thing. Right? These are orders, and it looks like Polygon is actually not relying on sushi. So we can take a look at this. The downside is I don't have any of these tokens. let's try beefing by. Oh, okay. The instant yield token isn't working because that's also linked to sushi. Don't trust sushi swap kids.
Do you have alternative token lists that you can grab from?
Not in the middle of a demo.
I mean, overall, is that something that?
Oh, overall, absolutely. It's just that, unfortunately, it looks like this is built into the flow and it doesn't have any error handling. I'll have to go speak with my web dev. But yes, getting back to that.
I love the fact that you've turned the NFT into a DApp itself.
Thank you. I really appreciate that. It was one of our bigger innovations. I'm sorry, I'm a little put off by this this unfortunate, incredibly unfortunately timed error.
That's okay. Don't
literally never seen this one. We just got done with a round of bug fixes. Did a practice run through this morning to prep for this, and not even our fault.
Hey, that's all good. You know, I mean, these things do happen. So, you know, we can always schedule another update when things are working as well.
I can send you guys that actual demo video. Anyways, let's get back to answer your questions. The basic idea is that, yeah, you can do this at really small amounts of capital, or you can do this at large amounts of capital. But the big thing to understand is that the amount of capital needed to support the fixed rate side is much larger than the amount of capital needed to support the variable rate side. And that means that we can scale to support institutions really effectively. And since the larger the fish, the more stability they want.
Right, of course. And so how does this, like jumping onto the regulatory side of things, how do you see yourselves getting involved with institutions, or are you already servicing institutions?
We are already servicing 2 hedge funds at this point. That's Coindex Capital Management and Digital Opportunities Group.
Okay.
And so far, it's been smooth sailing.
Nice. And you guys don't really get into the regulatory side of things, I'm sure. You just
we are a decentralized app that is absolutely custodianless. So we are not a broker dealer so far as we can tell. No. We are not a what is the term? Market maker either. Since this is a peer-to-peer system, it operates independent of any need for us to directly oversee it.
Okay, nice. In terms of your contracts, have you had audits run on your contracts, and who did those?
So we've been audited by both Zelic and BlockSec. The original protocol, the Revest protocol that backends Resonate, did suffer an exploit back in 2022, a year ago, nearly. We had Zelic and BlockSec come in and do audits on the repaired contracts for that. We launched an Immunified bug bounty. We had my friend who does audits for PwC on the human control side come in and perform extensive review of our dev and DevSecOps practices, and then implemented the recommendations that he made. With Resonate, we had Zelic and BlockSec both perform audits on it. We have been running bug bounties on both systems for a very long time. With Resonate, we did a private bug bounty pre-launch, farmed it out to PwnNoMore and their network of white hats, had them do automated fuzzy on it. And yeah, we've generally hit these contracts with pretty much everything we can.
Yeah, that's good to know. That's good to hear. I was just speaking with a very large company who has no audits on their contracts.
Jesus.
Yeah, and
that's not good.
Well, you know, I guess they're coming from a Web2 perspective, and and they were like, "Oh, why do we need audits on our contracts?" So I kind of explained that to them, and I think it landed. They're in talks with Certic apparently. So
Certic's okay.
yeah, they'll get the job done.
Trail of Bits, Quant Stamp. Those are the ones I would spend money on if I were looking for a tier one.
Quant Stamp, and who was the other one?
Hey, Block Second Zelic are tier ones, but if I wanted a super expensive tier one, Quant Stamp and Trail of Bits.
Okay. Nice.
No, honestly, Zelic and BlockSec are some of the best in the business, in my opinion. Those guys are fantastic.
So we got a few members in the audience. Any questions from you guys out there, or ZFi yourself? Have you got any questions? Got some dropping out. Maybe someone got a rug at the last minute there.
Oof. Best of luck, my dude.
Yes, constant Discord rugs around here.
Yeah.
ZFi says he liked the interactive NFTs, FNFTs as well.
Oh, I appreciate that, ZFi. I can tell you they've been a hit. The traction's been fantastic. It's been a little slow with FTX, I will say that, but lately we did about 900,000 in volume last month. We're sitting at like 1.2 million in cumulative. This month we're slated for 1.6 with our current commitments. That includes 100 ETH deployment from DAO into fixed rate positions. We got Alchemix. We just partnered up with them to supply fixed rate of 8% on ETH through their system. We have an ongoing relationship with Coindex and Digital Opportunities and are currently pumping $300,000 in liquidity through Velodrome with Digital. And we're working on some pretty interesting stuff with GLP. I'm not going to give away too much, but you can take the upfront interest that you get paid out from Resonate, right? You get that interest upfront. You can take that. Now that your principal is secure in the FNFT here, you can take that thing you just got paid and you can run it over to say like Gearbox or Rodeo, and you can drop it in and lever it up. Normally, I don't touch leverage because it's pretty easy to get liquidated. But in this case, the only thing you risk losing is your interest.
Oh.
Right?
Okay. Interesting.
Pretty clever, isn't it?
Yeah, definitely.
So you get 2 or 3 times what you normally would, or your money back.
Right. Yeah, so yeah, you don't lose your collateral. That's fantastic.
Thank you. We got another one we're working on with the guys over at I can't give away their name yet. It's too early. But we got an NFT lending protocol we're working with, right?
Mm-hmm.
And they do fixed term loans, just like our FNFTs. Our FNFTs, it shows you these things they lock up when you make the trade. Otherwise, you can just pull your principal in and out of the pool. So in the case that you have executed a trade, let's say you get 10% on ETH, which is huge, incredible. We're going to be able to do it in a few weeks. But you get 10% on ETH. Okay, take that 10%, let's say it's 100 ETH, you got 110 ETH, but 100 of it is in an FNFT. Okay, go over to this NFT lender and get a loan on the FNFT for 95 ETH. It's 1 day later than the FNFT's maturity. Meaning that if you don't pay it back, they liquidate your FNFT and they get the 100 ETH and you lose 5 ETH. But in the short term, if you don't do that and actually pay your loan, you're fine. So take that 95 ETH that you just got paid and go back to Resonate. Drop that 95 ETH back into Resonate and get 9.5 ETH upfront. Get another FNFT. Go back to the lender. Get another loan, 90 ETH this time. Go back to Resonate. So we aren't just a catalyst for institutional finance entering this space. We are also a catalyst for the success and birth of NFT-Fi.
NFT-Fi. Ooh, I like it.
Yeah.
We love a good buzzword around here.
That is the hot new buzzword, though. We
Okay.
we're financial NFTs. They're NFTs fi. We're a match made in heaven.
Interesting. Okay. Um, yeah, I know of a couple NFT lending platforms out there, but I won't start throwing names out there because you already said you're
Yeah.
not going to say it. Um,
Uh,
I
the
have a
advantage
question.
of these, they're
Yeah,
easy to value.
right. Yeah, that's it. Kind of reminds me a bit of hedgy finance, where you're locking up tokens for future release, but here you're actually locking up a position.
Exactly.
Okay,
Our original
and
protocol actually was pretty much doing a very similar thing to Hedgie. We preceded them. That was
right, right.
Revest.
Now, are these FNFTs, are you able to interact with those on other sites? If you just, could you interact with
Yeah.
that from OpenSea?
Not OpenSea. OpenSea blocks iframe injection. But
Okay,
yeah, you can interact with your FNFTs anywhere. For example, go to, so the FNFTs are provided by Revest. And Resonate is built on top of Revest as the go-to market. That was the idea. But if we go here to the, where are they? You go here to Liquid Driver, and you'll see that, yeah, there's two of my FNFTs. These ones contain Liquid Driver. And you'll actually see, I think, assuming this works, which is a pretty fair assumption. Yes, it does. You can actually claim these rewards right from the FNFT. I'm going to go ahead, I'm going to switch to a different wallet, which I know owns these. That's this wallet. And we should, which wallet is this? You'll have to forgive me, gentlemen. I have too many different wallets.
yeah. See that.
Well, if I could figure out which wallet it was, we'd be able to claim the interest, but we can't figure out which wallet it is.
That looked like a whale wallet to me.
Oh, did you see too much there?
I may have seen too much, yeah.
Ah, dang, okay. Oh, shoot. I liked you, man.
Now you gotta kill me.
No choice. I
Uh,
don't want to talk about how down bad I am on Phantom.
oh, really?
Oh, Jesus. Yeah.
Yeah.
CEO, Nev, occasional degen.
I'm doing all right with my Phantom position. Just at a point where, I'm just gonna hold it, hodl, see how it goes.
Yeah, I
Ok-
sympathize with you on that. Oh, we've got a different principal FNFT now that we're on a different wallet. Yeah, that's pretty neat. That's the MIM one.
Okay, so that's cool. So you can actually go into those FNFTs in other places and interact with those
Oh
directly.
yeah, no,
That's dope.
we're working on. When I told you about that leverage thing, we're working on a one-click solution with someone I guarantee y'all have heard of. Too early to talk about that. You should
Too
be able to
early.
get risk-free returns of 50% on GLP.
And tell us briefly about GLP for those who aren't familiar.
GLP is a real yield play. You provide liquidity to their system. It's a perp system, so they just serve as a perp exchange, and you make the trading fees on those perps. Their APYs are typically around 10 to 20%.
Okay.
Yeah. And
And
by
how
building on the right people, we can pull that off.
and how volatile is GLP itself?
It is an index. So
Okay,
it is a combination of Bitcoin, Ethereum, and several other tokens.
gotcha.
Relatively low volatility beyond holding ETH.
Yes.
But I can tell you guys, I got my back.
Beauty. All right. Well, it looks like we've covered most of the product itself. Unfortunately, Sushi Swap is not giving us
Sushi's
the
just not
juice.
cooperating today.
No.
I'll go file a complaint with the manager.
Yeah, definitely. Fill out this form. Is there
Jesus.
anything else that you'd like to share with us from the Resonate side?
So the raise has been going well. We got hauled into the office of a large institutional bank in Denver to talk about what we built. They were really excited about it, want us to deploy on one of their test nets. I got off a call the other day with one of the more well-known institutional custodians who's also interested in offering these fixed rates to their customers. Thus far, we've raised about $700,000. Before we went to Denver, we were only looking at a $2 million raise, but we are now looking at a $3 million.
Amazing.
So,
And your profit model, you take a percentage of the fees produced, correct?
yes. So profit model, we are charging 5% on each side. Based on our estimations, per $500 million TVL in the system, we're looking at 7.5 million in revenue
Per annum.
Yep.
Beautiful.
So it's looking pretty good. We're working on getting over that first 5 million hump. That's what we're doing right now. Once we get over that, I actually have been in touch with the people at Blockdaemon, and from what I understand, that's it's kind of the critical mass they need to start putting it through their due diligence process. But there's interest. It's been a very exciting few weeks.
Nice. Yeah, sounds like Denver was well worth it.
Dude, Denver was it was incredible. I mean, let me tell you guys about the team. I think I should probably use these last few minutes to do that since, well, obviously, Sushi had other plans for us today. That's the volume we've been seeing. This is how we're taking things out. Short term, getting capital, consolidating, getting to 100 million. And once we hit that, we're looking to build an internal hedge fund to actually market make our own system. Right now, we're doing that at an individual level, actually. I'll take I'll underwrite a lot of these deals just because it's very profitable to do so. And our institutional friends don't mind if we make 10% in 2 weeks, since that's very little skin off their backs. But we're going to want to scale that up. In the long run, we want to serve as kind of the bridge to TradFi. We think that when they start building their chains, we can start licensing our tech to them and giving them the fixed rates they need. And then way down the line, they see that there's clear inefficiencies between what we're doing in the real world, DeFi, that is. And so they've got institutional version of Resonate, DeFi version of Resonate, and we're going to convince them to come over to the dark side. So in terms of who's running this thing, you guys met me. This is Matt. He's my project manager. Pulled him away from Apple because he had been wanting to get into crypto for years, and I offered him that route. Then there is Adam. He goes by Dollar Bill Cooper, which is a reference to DB Cooper for those of you who don't get the horrible joke. And he is an agent of chaos. The man is absolutely wonderful. You never quite know what he's going to do, but he's really good at closing deals, which is how we have partnerships with all of these fine folks here: Alchemix, Redacted, Velo, Yearn, Beefy, and GLP, along with an awful lot more. That guy knows how to run a sales department, and he knows how to make friends. You've already heard me talk about the raise. I'm happy to answer any questions that the audience may have. Otherwise, thank y'all so much for having me, and I'm really sorry that SushiSwap chose this exact moment to stop working for the first time I've ever seen that happen.
Yeah, it's who knows why that happened. Maybe they want you to come in and run another demo. The gods must be crazy. But no, I really appreciated this. It's nice to learn about some of the incredible financial tools which are being built, and that fits in perfectly well with the BanklessDAO mission, which is to create user-friendly on-ramps for decentralized financial tools. So that's essentially what you're doing, and you're doing it well, it seems.
Thank you. I think we might actually be able to run this stream. Do you want to give it one more shot?
If you've got time, ZFi, then I think, yeah, let's go for it.
One of my devs just told me that optimism is working. So we're going to take the chance Don't know how well this is going to work. There's a good chance that this doesn't work. But can you guys see this?
I can see your screen.
Okay. Well, fantastic. So what we're doing here is I'm approving the transaction right now since that's the most boring part. And then I'll tell you how this is going to work. Somebody has put 100 my 3 curve tokens and they want an upfront yield on it, right? They place that order on this side where they're the issuer, they're the institution. No, this is only $100. And they want to get paid 5% for a 1-year lockup. So what I'm doing is I'm coming in here with optimism and I'm saying, all right, give me a second. Oh, sushi swap, I hate you so much right now. We're coming in here. Okay, there we go. There it is. So we're coming in here and we're taking their position. You see how it turned green? I canceled it, so I just want you guys to see this. What we do is we click on this because this side, this side has capital. The issuer, the institution, has put a position. They want a 5% upfront payout for your lockup, and we're going to pay them 5%. It's about $5. So go ahead, hit that update, hit that deposit, confirm that transaction, and all things go well. We should very shortly have a successful transaction. All right.
Okay, yeah, I'm glad you were able to get that running.
There we go. It worked.
Okay.
Beautiful. So you can see here, it took a 25-cent fee, 5% of course, of that upfront payment and sent it to the payments wallet.
Mm-hmm.
It took the rest and sent it to me, or sent it to the guy who locked up his capital, and I will now get the entirety of his position. It really does not like sushi today. Try to reload the page. It's getting angry, but I figured it out. Should very shortly have some FNFTs in here. And there we go. There's mine, and there's his. So we can see both of them now. They've just been created. This one will represent the interest, and this one will represent the principal.
Okay, so you can walk in today. He wants 5% of $100. You can pay $5.
Yep.
Get his $100.
We paid him $5 here. His $100 is now in the farm. It's a, I believe it's a beefy farm. Yeah, it's a beefy farm on my key DAO, hosted by Curve. And his $100 of my key DAO LPs is now my Curve, whatever that is, my 3 pool, is now in the beefy farm. And that's what this principal FNFT represents. It represents the rights to reclaim that. This interest FNFT will represent the rights to claim the interest that position accumulates during this time period. I'm pretty sure these rely on sushi too, so if they don't load, please don't hold it against me. But they very clearly are existing, and I'm happy for just that after this wonderful turn of events.
All right.
I'll take it. One
Nice.
worth 100, one worth nothing yet, but someday it will be. So that is the demo. Let's go ahead and call it before Beefy themselves start having problems.
Yeah, let's get out here before the internet explodes.
Thank you guys so much for having me. I really appreciate the time.
Yeah, thanks a lot, Rob. So next steps for anybody who wants to get involved, this is live, correct? And anybody can go on to app.resonate.finance, correct?
Accurate. Anybody who wants to can go to app.resonate.finance once we finish yelling at sushi or ripping out their code by the roots.
Beautiful. And in terms of team, are there any open positions currently at ReFi?
Revest Finance.
Revest Finance.
We may have an opening for a Slatey developer in the next few weeks. Entirely possible.
All right.
We've currently got some very talented individuals, but we're always on the lookout for new talent.
Brilliant. Okay. Well, yeah, thanks a lot. Good luck on the raise. Sounds like you don't even need luck because it sounds like you're smashing it. And looking forward to giving this a try myself.
Absolutely. Thank you so much for hosting me.
Beautiful. Thanks, Rob. Thanks for coming.
Talk to you guys soon.
Bye.